All right, team. Here at the Underground Strength Gym, and just thinking to myself, damn, this place is beautiful. I will be going live with my buddy JP from M3 Strength and Conditioning. And it's going to be a great topic. We won't go too long because we know a lot of you guys are watching college football. I tell you, I come here to the Underground just to clear my head. I trained Monday through Friday. I'll train actually probably tomorrow because I'm coaching Monday morning. But I was like, man, this place is beautiful. This is such a place of work. So JP's going to hop on, and I saw something posted inside the NHSCA group. And if you're a high school strength coach, make sure you get involved with the NHSSCA. That's the National High School Strength Coach Association. I'm the state director here in New Jersey. And Johnny Monstrous walking in the rain, that's got to feel great. Nature. So I saw something that was posted that was real interesting, and the topic was this, topic/concern, pretty big issue here, is as coaches, especially strength coaches, we're consistently encouraging athletes to play multiple sports, at least through sophomore year in high school. But what's happening is that they still don't get a break. So, for example, and JP's hopping on right now. And if that doesn't work, I will. Here we go. JP, what's up, brother? So I started introducing the topic, which was this. In the NHSCA Facebook group, somebody said, we discuss multiple sports, encourage multiple sports with athletes. And he said, now it's kind of it's almost gotten out of control because they still don't get a break. So kids will play football on Friday, high school football. Now it's Saturday or Sunday, they have to go to a wrestling tournament or a baseball showcase. And what I commented and said with you is, this is why kids are just consistently injured. There is zero downtime. And I said, the truth, want to know the real truth, is guys our age, in our 40s, they turned all that into a business. So baseball travel teams are $1 million plus business per year because they will build travel teams from age 7 or 8 through the end of high school, and there will be 3 teams per grade. So we're looking at like $9,000 or $10,000 per grade level. You're looking at, 10 grade levels. So you're looking at $1 million per year. But I think I don't think it's ever going to go back. I really don't think we're ever going to have this just kind of like, hey, you're going to take a break and you can prepare. So here's what I've seen. And you're in a high school, you were in a high school, now you're opening another sport facility. This year, we're 3 weeks into high school sports. I've never seen this many injuries in my life. And this is over 20 years of strength and conditioning. I mean, kids were injured before scrimmages even happened. So practice was injuring them. You'd think parents would just be like, okay, that doesn't seem right. We need to do something. We need a different mode of training to make them more durable. I think strength training is going to come back. It's going to beat the quote unquote speed and agility places where kids don't squat or do pull-ups or farmer walks. I think that's going to have to make a comeback. It has to.
100%. And that's why I use the term now, player health and performance, because without being healthy, there is no performance. And I think this is why this has forced me. This whole situation has forced me to, okay, we got to create a Sunday evening class because that's the one time a week I can give a kid a stimulus, touch the whole entire body to safeguard them for all the activity of what's going on. But I think a whole lot needs to change. I think, one, in order to be a skill coach of any sport, whether it's football, baseball, anything, I think there should be some type of test that on stress recovery adaptation that shows that you're educated to understand what stress is, recovery, adaptation. I think every skill coach in the high school setting should be required to take this test. Because when you talk to them about this, it's like they look at you like they don't even know what you're talking about, and the only thing that they're going to coach is what they did in high school. And I think this has forced us to restoration work, reverse sled drags. I'm always thinking about reverse engineering, what they're doing in their sport. If they're playing 3 sports year round, and then whenever they go train, they want to go to the speed agility guy, the body can only take so many ground contacts. This is why I've gotten really big into the box jumps. Yep, there you go. The sleds, the box jumps, single leg box jumping, being able to absorb force on these boxes, finding ways to create a stimulus without beating the kids up. This is why I've practically, Zach, I've had to let the school have the back squat. That's why you always see me front squatting. This is why you see me using a 20-meter sled push for leg strength for kids. So I can concentric training, laying off of, so I'm not over. I don't think there's been a person who's thought about this more. So that way, when you hit me up with this topic, I've just been like, how do you give these kids a quality stimulus? It's almost like you got to do repair work first. It's gotten out of control. But I think, and you're right, with the baseball, I mean, it's crazy. The baseball kids are so young. They come in, and I do an assessment of one chin up. And you see they barely can do one as is, but their right side is pulling, has all this strength, and the left side doesn't. And I'm like, this kid's 13, 14, and already has a bilateral deficit. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they're going to want to it's gotten out of control where you kids they look funny when they do basic push-ups. And I just think, you're right. It's out of control. It's like they're going to play so many sports. And I agree. Like, people say play multiple sports. I agree. But this is where I disagree. At some point, if you've been playing this sport for so long and you're real skill-based at it, at some point, can we get the car off the road for a 12-week period? Let me see what I can do for you. The one kid I just had, Valdosta State, I had so much joy. I had him for 12 weeks. I didn't have to worry about one other stressor. 12 weeks, puts on 10 pounds of muscle, increases his vertical jump by 5 inches, decreases his 60 time, sends me a message, text last week, and says, JP, I'm so glad I did this with you this summer. He's like, I'm smaller than all these dudes. I'm stronger than all of them. He was like, man, I trap barred 5 plates. And it's like, when you can get somebody to buy into that process and understand, like, I don't think people understand, like what we do. Like, putting real tools in their tool bag where it's like, now go to your skill coach. Like, they're trying to get to, it's gotten so specific, man. The training's got so specific to where, like I said, I'm putting a mile time back on my board, Zach. Can you run a mile? Can you run a mile? Are you out there playing football without an aerobic base? Do you even have a basic aerobic base? Like, and it's gotten out of control. But yes, I agree with you. I think you need to hang in there, because I think the wave of what we do is going to come back in, and we just got to keep sending the message out there.
You said something earlier about like player health, and now what I send my coaches a lot of videos from Donnie Thompson, Kelly Starrett, Squat University, because I'm not saying we're physical therapists, but you have to learn this rehab model because they're so screwed up. I asked a baseball player at my school, I'm like, dude, you're missing out on the workouts. He's like, I'm in physical therapy. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we live in New Jersey and your travel team is not even in New Jersey. And it's because you're doing all that special arm care. And I remember speaking with Rachel Balkovic about this a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, when she was working with the Yankees. I was like, Rachel, can you just clarify, is, arm care a bunch of bullshit? She's like, Zach, arm care is everything you're doing. Pull-ups, push-ups, rowing, farmer walks, climbing rope. She's like, that is your arm care. And I was like, oh, it's another buzzword, fad, and gimmick. Today I had to get out of my office. I was spending time finalizing all the second edition stuff for the Encyclopedia of Underground Strength. And I feel like that book is now needed more than it was when it was published 10 years ago. I need to see more athletes coming back to sandbag power cleans, farm boy basic strength. You know exactly what I'm saying, but I can't wait for the book to get out there. And I love what you're
Absolutely.
saying too about the kids look funny when they train. I think a lot of sport coaches who run the weight room, when they see maybe a baseball player do a push-up and he squirms one way and his core is sagging, I hate that word core, trunk sagging, they don't even understand that that's wrong. They don't identify, oh, that is a
Right.
major deficit. He's pulling to one way. All right. Like today, I saw a video of one of our softball players. She might weigh 120 pounds. She trap bar deadlift 195 for 4, little bit of wobbling. So I text the coaches. All right, side planks, suitcase carries. We're all on that same page, but every exercise to me is an assessment and an indicator of where you're at. These are real interesting points, and I think that if these injuries keep, exploding, I think eventually parents will listen and they're going to get back to being like, okay, we need to be able to run a mile for general fitness. A mile is really nothing. I used to run to my friend's house up the street, quarter mile. Then we're running to the back of the neighborhood to meet with the next friend, half mile. Then we'd ride our bike hours on end every day. And we never were, quote unquote, overtrained. So it's the parents who are raising these
Yep.
kids are our age or 10 years older. So they grew up during what I call like crazy times, 70s, 80s, you're outside all the time. So I'm also very excited to see how you're, going to organize. You have your new gym, your new strength and sports performance facility. And I think it's going to develop just badasses because of how you're changing these like standards, so to speak, of running a mile. Jim Wendler
Right.
said it. He's like, I don't care if you're a lineman. He's like, if you're in high school, you should be healthy enough to run a mile, because when you're on the field and you're running, all right, you may not be jogging at that pace, but you're building a big motor that could handle work and be durable. Durability is, to me, everything now.
Sure. It's going to potentiate. You're building a base of potentiation for what you're going to do in your sport. So in the off season, you have to be able to do these things, basic chin ups, push ups. Like, these are just basic things that people should be able to do. And it's just, this thing is getting out of control to where, parents actually think like their middle schooler has to do something in the gym, in the weight room, that looks like their sport, and that's wrong. That is so far from the truth. I think was it Fred Hatfield who said you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe? Was it is that who said that you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe?
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
My analogy is no such thing as weak and successful, no such thing as weak and fast. And if you are, there's some kids that are very like skinny and they're very fast, but they lack durability. So I say, hey, my concern to you is when somebody hits you, are you available for the remainder of the game, or are you going to break? Are you going to fold like an accordion? You have no muscle. You have no body. You're not durable.
Right.
Have you been to, you've watched your son playing football. Now he's in college. I've I live behind my high school, so I watch the local team play and our guys. I notice kids don't even have like jacked up arms. There's no like muscle like Jim Wendler. Win the game off the bus. As soon as you get off the bus, that kid, like, nobody's jacked anymore.
No, I think the kids, they care more. A lot of them, that's another thing we got to touch on, the food part of it, because a lot of them aren't eating enough. But I think a lot of these kids are more concerned. Some of them more concerned with having abs than actually they're hindering their results putting on. I question this. Are you packing a lunch the day before? Are you waking up eating a good breakfast? Are you hydrated, doing those things? Yeah, I've seen that. And that's what my son used to tell me all the time. He was like, Dad, these kids, they're just not eating enough. So that's something as well, too.
Your son was in high school, so he's a freshman in college. Did you make him breakfast, or he made himself?
I did. Well, I made his lunch the day before up until I think his junior year. And
Yeah.
I used to pack him 2 sandwiches. One would be a peanut butter and jelly, and one
Yeah.
would be like turkey, 2 pieces of cheese, avocado,
Yes.
3 pieces of turkey bacon. Like I would find a way to get the extra calories in there. He would do a good job with eating. Like it's funny because he got on these, one of those guys he found on YouTube, the French toast
Yeah.
sticks. They're like 90 calories a stick. Well, he got on those, and he told the whole football team about them. And I was like, I'd go to Publix. I'm like, dude, they're not there anymore. We can't get, you know what I mean? Now I got to go somewhere else to find them. He had like the whole team on them. Oh, I'll tell you one thing that I thought was really cool. What his football coach did, I really thought was cool on Twitter, was his coach would like post get the players make them like, he had a saying like, post your breakfast meal like on Twitter. Yeah, that was a good idea, I thought. Like, and then all the kids would be like, I forgot the saying they would say, but it was some type of saying. But I thought it was a genius idea. That was kind of cool to kind of get the kids involved as far as the eating piece of it. Yeah, but some kids are just too, I don't know. Some kids are, they don't, I don't know, man. But you know what my son says? A Hulk from Smoothie King. You know, if you can't get the food, a Smoothie King Hulk's like 1,500, 1,600 calories.
An old book called Keys to Progress, and it was by John McCallum. And I think John McCallum may have been an NFL strength coach in like the 60s for the Chargers. But anyway, he wrote about the Get Big drink. The Get Big drink was, you know, like back in the day, they had those big blenders. So it was like 24 ounces milk, banana. And then he said like it was called 2 bricks of ice cream, a brick of ice cream. So you could make your own protein shake like this. Like you do milk, you get ice cream, banana. If you need to gain size, add a shot of olive oil. You won't taste it. Healthy fats.
There you go.
A spoon of peanut butter, and even a little bit of dried oats. Half a cup of dried oats. And kids could drink that. But I think parents,
there you go.
They think their kid.
Let me give the listeners my ultimate favorite smoothie to make at home.
Yes.
Take a sweet potato, hit it with a fork, wrap it up with the saran wrap, put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. Okay? A sweet potato, a banana, 2 shots of protein, an egg or 2, milk, peanut butter, and some nutmeg. And blend it up. It's nutmeg. Delicious with the sweet potato. It tastes like a sweet potato pie or like pumpkin pie. I'm talking about a good like smoothie.
That's fine. You're going to add the milk. You're going to get protein. You could add yogurt to it.
Right.
But you should be your kids should have protein powder in the house. It's interesting. Parents think their kids are eating a lot, and then they'll say stuff, well, he's picky. And I'm like, listen, you're giving too many options. I spoke with my buddy Fitz today, my boy Craig Fitzgerald over with the Giants. He's like, I told my son, if you want to play football, you have to wrestle. Period. End of story. He's like, because God forbid he gets hurt out there. I know I gave him the best chance of being safe. And so yesterday when I was watching football and I'm watching the O-line and the D-line kind of tangle with each other, in my mind, I'm a wrestler. I'm like, that would be so easy to clear. Or I know wrestling and I know hand fighting and I know how to use my hips or how to use somebody's body against them. And all I'm thinking to myself is we need more football players wrestling. But I'm going to tell you why a lot of football players won't wrestle is because it's too damn hard. It's fucking hard. And so they want to do it. Luckily for me, at my high school, our wrestling coach loves the lifting. So I see them 3 days a week. And leading up to their first match, they might lift 5 days a week, but 30 minutes. And so the first 3 days are kind of the regular, heavier. And then they follow the next 2 days. It's a repeat, but I have them go lighter and for speed. So now they're not having to get like psyched up. So, okay, if normal squat 185,
I like
hit
it.
135, same reps, but move the bar faster. And I always finish with the last few minutes. I say last 5 minutes, free. You choose your exercises. You could stick to the workout on the whiteboard, or you could do arms. I don't care. Do your tricep push downs. Do light up curls, because
Sure.
then they feel like, oh, I get
Sure.
to own this. But we need that year-round lifting, and I really believe if you're playing
Absolutely.
football, you need a combative background, like wrestle a little bit, take up judo. Even I would love to myself get back to Muay Thai so I could work with guys on the mitts, because and it's so
Man,
in your
hand
head,
work.
you
Yeah.
feel very confident when your hands are fast.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Absolutely.
Let's close out with this. You're watching college football right now? What comes to your mind when you're watching college football players and you're thinking about training?
I mean, here's my thing is, I just think about play your sport, meaning you have to become a master at your sport, but your training, Zach, man, it should be like general. Like I love, and I got to give Andy Baker credit for this. He has something where he says there's no such thing as football strength, basketball strength, wrestling strength, soccer strength. There's just strength. And it's just the truth. It's the truth, brother. Like you got to have the foul. You got to be, if it's a front squat or back squat, you need to be safeguarded. You need to have a full range of motion, deep, heavy squat. You need to have some type of heavy hinge, heavy upper body push, upper body pull, those basic things, man. Like, and then of course, when they say arm care, we're doing tons of band pull aparts, face pulls, rows. I mean, yeah, the things are with bands and suspension trainers, it's harder to quantify. We might not put them up on a board, but we're doing those things. Like, man, become, like you say all the time, brilliance with the basics. Do those things and go get a PhD in your sport. And like the year-round training thing, when I think about that, I say, okay, if you can play through sports year-round, cool. But you need to make sure you're getting a good squatting twice a week, doing these basic things, your maintenance, keeping your car aligned. If you're playing too many sports to where you can't devote time to your physical preparation, you're running the risk. You're putting you're putting the car out on the road, and it's dangerous. You're out there riding on a bad suspension.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think about.
Season, but this weekend I'm at a wrestling tournament or a baseball showcase. Your car can never go to the mechanic to get a tune-up, to get the tires rotated. And that's what training in the conjugate method does. It allows us to rotate the squats, rotate the stress exposure. It allows us to change the way we're training them to them feel good versus I'm doing the same thing. Kids don't have days off anymore. And I think when you have that day off, it's emotionally, it's inspiring for the athlete because they want to come back. They're like, all right, I took the weekend off. I could come back and go hard. And so I'm definitely concerned with the amount of injuries I'm seeing. And my thought process is lack of time to devote to proper year-round strength and conditioning, physical preparation, and also you're spending time on the road, so you don't ever sit down and have these quality meals. Oh, we're in the car. I got to eat dinner, Chick-fil-A tonight. Well, I'm every other day I'm on the grill with chicken and different kinds of steak and meat, and that's what my kids take to school. I do a thermos, heat up the food in the morning for a minute, and they take chicken and rice, steak and rice, steak and sweet potatoes. Last one was kind of like a mishmash. It had a burger chopped up, rice. My wife had made gnocchi. I threw some gnocchi in there and a few little pieces. I think it was a flank steak. And so my son was like, that was so good. It was like, Stan Efferding has the monster mash. That stuff's great. Add some chicken stock to it. That's what boys and girls skip breakfast. They have a cup of coffee for breakfast. They eat a salad for lunch, no protein, fiber. Their coffee is a diuretic. They're dehydrated, and they're overwhelmed from constantly playing the sport. So you and I are on a mission. I also, the NHSSCA, I think will be like the NSCA CSCS in a way where eventually in a high school setting, you won't be able to run the weight room unless you've had a certification or you're proven to be a highly qualified strength coach. And we have great strength coaches in high school and not so great. We have great private sector coaches and also charlatans. That's just the unfortunate way of the world in everything, not just strength and conditioning, but you could go and work at a bank and people are doing great work and somebody else is a what do you call it, like a huckster. They're just full of shit. So unfortunately, Ultimate Warrior said this to me. He's like, there will always be good and bad. There will always be the sun and the moon, or the night and the dark. He's like, that's the way of the world. There will always be that. And but I think we just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, this is going to get out of control. This is getting out of control. Like everything you look on social media, it's like, it's looking so much like the sport. It's like, are y'all even strength training?
Because it's
gotten out of control.
It doesn't look cool. Like, I'll tell you what, when I see somebody do a deep squat and they got perfect hand positioning, their back is locked in, their eyes are forward, to me, I see all the details. Other people would be like, so what, it's a squat. Oh, but did he jump over the hurdle sideways, then forwards, then release the weight, then jump this, then do this crazy? Ugh, fire, bro. Like, I watch football.
Right.
Nobody's jumping in 50 fucking different directions. Like,
that's one of my second rules I talked about. I can't remember, but on my non-negotiables that I had made, and you'll see it, is I talked about how, look, as being a sportsman, I said, look, your highlight reels for the field, it's not going to look like that in your training. Like, you know what I mean? It's the basics. If you think the more, okay, if they're playing sport year round, 3 times all year round, they're training in it should look general, man. General, good quality, full range of motion strength training, like real, making an athlete stronger. That's what it should look like. It shouldn't look more like the sport. Like, are you kidding me? Everybody, it's out of control. But the rise of people that don't have to have overhead, that can just go grab a field, go bring some cones, some bands out there, is very attractive since the rise of TikTok and Instagram. These guys they mooch off the fields. They don't have to pay any overhead. They're not brick and mortar, probably don't have any insurance, don't even have an LLC, haven't done any type of health history on the athlete. Don't even ask questions like, when's your next game? Or have you had an injury? Just gather up kids, charge them $20-$30 a pop, take them out in the field with some bands and cones, and do more of what their sport looks like.
Sweaty, he's exhausted. Listen, I agree, you should work. PJ Golf, Go Kane said, what do you think of stretching? I tell athletes, you should be doing self-care every day. You should spend 5 to 10 minutes that night, get a little stretch routine going, do some foam rolling, do some body tempering. I have my son using a jump stretch band. If the guy who commented knows Dick Hartzell, he incorporated stretching with the band. And, most influencers don't know who Dick Hartzell is, or even like Donnie Thompson's old videos on self-care. But I tell them, when we have in high school groups of 60, I don't have 60 foam rollers. We need to train, need to strength train. You guys need to spend 10 minutes, 5 minutes at night doing some self-care, because if I felt like the better trade-off was stretching during a strength session, I would do it. But I watch girls soccer. It's like a rugby game. It's crazy. They're smashing into each other. Girls are heading a soccer ball, kicks, whatever, 30, 50 yards away.
Oh, yeah.
We need to build the strength and durability. This conversation, it's also for men. Like, when we hang up, I'm going to do some cleans. I'm going to hit some incline dumbbell bench. I'll do some free weights for arms. Yesterday, I did squats. I did bent over rowing on my Matt Wenning belt squat here. I did deep squats. Nice. I hit some bodybuilding work with the leg curl. I did jumps from the bench, vertical jump, broad jump. I did iso holding lunge position. So I'm still trying to build exactly what I put in athletes, because that stuff keeps you healthy. I tell the kids all the time, when sports are over, the hill sprints don't end. The back squats and the cleans continue.
That's right.
So this was a great one, my brother. I'll post this audio and share it to the Strong Life podcast. And people could follow you, M3 Strength and Conditioning, to learn. And you've got a location in Fort Walton Beach, and the next one's going to be where? Niceville or Destin? Niceville.
Yeah,
So on
Niceville.
What's that area called? The Florida? That's that the golf? That's the Panhandle.
The Panhandle.
Beautiful.
Gulf Coast.
So
Same
JP,
thing.
thanks for hopping on and taking a break from college football. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Oh,
yep. Share this.
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Share this.
All right.
Share this
Appreciate
with
it.
friends.
Thanks, everybody.
We're out of here. Later, bro.